3.
Hello, I'm Phil Ellsworth. I'm a veterinarian and I wrote the story about Jocko the raven. Jocko was a real raven that came into my veterinary hospital with a broken wing. A young mother and her 2 kids had seen him spiraling down out of the sky and landing hard in some weeds. She went over to see if he was still alive. He had been knocked out, but he was breathing, so she wrapped him in her jacket and brought him into my animal hospital. He had a broken wing and had been shot by a pellet gun, and I put the wing back together and put a wrap on it to keep it steady. And as he had been hit on the head, I thought it might be a good thing for my story to have him been knocked out and change the wiring of his brain so that he could talk to humans and animals both. And just to continue the story, right after Jocko is healed up, why, Doc's 2 kids, Ken and Nancy, on Doc's horse ranch, they play hide and seek with Jocko out in the barn and reward him with a handful of corn, like on the front cover of the story. But they have great fun doing that. And also, they get to meet the 2 friendliest horses. Molly is a pretty young mare, and Tug is a big gray workhorse. And they are Jocko's best friends on the ranch. Molly does warn him not to get close to the black horse in the stall across from them. And one time, Jocko forgets and lands on the top of the door and just barely escapes losing some tail feathers when the horse attacks him. But that was a good lesson for him. Sometime later, Jocko notices that a man in uniform with a star on his chest comes to talk to Doc, and it seems that a young girl had been lost in the forest, and wondering if Doc can give some help to find her. Ken says, Nancy and I have been playing hide and seek with Jocko. I'll bet he can find her. And so that's what they do. And sure enough, Jocko finds her sitting next to a tree with her thumb in her mouth, and was happy to see somebody coming to take her home. Not long after that, Jocko was flying over a big field and sees what looks to be a huge hamburger on the edge of that field. He thinks, gee, I'd better go down and check that out. So he flies down, and as he walks up to it, he says, well, it doesn't really smell like a hamburger, but boy, it looks good, and I love hamburgers. I'll just go up and give it a good peck. What can it hurt? Well, he gives the peck, and twang, he ends up in a net, and he's trapped. Pretty soon after that, the bad man comes along and takes him to his farm and locks him in a cage in the barn. And while he's in the barn, he meets the barn cat and convinces him to help him out and open the cage door, which he does. And when the bad man comes back into the barn, why, Jocko flies out. And that happens again the next fall. A young boy gets lost while his parents are out hunting firewood, and Jocko finds him just before a couple of coyotes attack him, and he scares the coyotes off by spreading his wings and saying, "Get out," and the coyotes leave. That's the story in a nutshell, a brief story of what Jocko the Raven is all about. And I think you'll enjoy reading it, and appreciate you taking part of this reading program. Goodbye.